इंडिया सोना अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना इंडिया सोना
India Zona.
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
ये है सीक्रेट रेसिपी MDH का जीरा सिप जल जीरा मसाला।
सिप सिप जीरा सिप इंडिया का जल जीरा सिप इंडिया का जल जीरा सिप
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल। ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े। क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
from Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and welcome. You're watching your favorite weekend show, The LongForm Story. It's this place where we take you through stories uncovered through the week. An in-depth dive into what we believe is the biggest story of the week and the newsmakers. Tonight on The LongForm, I come to you with 4 very special reports. Reports for which we have traveled to various corners of this country to get you in-depth reportage. But before I begin, let me take you through the headlines we're tracking at this hour. The 20 crore arms deal link. What's the link between the luxury yacht of dealer Adnan Khashoggi to a bungalow in Ghaziabad? How did a fake embassy operate for years in plain sight? Was this a deception? Well, it's India's biggest buried crime. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight on The LongForm, we take you to Dharamsthala. What's really happening on the ground? The SIT has been formed, and why exactly this is becoming one of the biggest talking points. In Karnataka, a former sanitation worker's chilling allegation has shaken the nation. Hundreds of bodies buried in secret, victims of suspected violence. What's the Dharamsthala truth? And far away in the hills of Manipur, the echoes of World War II come alive. Construction workers in Imphal have stumbled upon relics from the 1944 Battle of Imphal. All this India marks 26 years since its heroes reclaimed the frozen heights of Kargil. On Kargil, Vijay, Diwas, the tricolour once again flies high. With that, onto our first long-form story. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a tale of deception, diplomacy, and a trail that stretches from the luxury yachts of arms dealer Adnan Khashoggi to a quiet bungalow in Ghaziabad. For years, in one of Uttar Pradesh's most well-heeled neighborhoods, a man ran a fake embassy. Not just a scam, but a sophisticated fraud network. Investigation hints this was not the work of a lone fraudster, but part of a wider global network with ties to some of the most shadowy figures. On the long-form story, was this about power, profit, or something far more sinister?
Adnan Khashoggi was no ordinary tycoon. In the 1970s and 80s, he brokered arms deals worth billions, navigating a web of governments, spies, and tycoons. His empire was built on more than arms deals. His labyrinth of offshore companies and discreet financial maneuvers made him a master of moving money across borders. Decades after his peak, his shadow looms over an unlikely place, a quiet neighborhood in Ghaziabad in India, where a fake embassy thrived for 7 years, raising questions about a global nexus of money and deception. In Ghaziabad's upscale Kavinagar, tucked inside a residential stretch, stood a bungalow bearing an extraordinary signboard, Embassy of Westarctica.
A shocking incident has come to light from Ghaziabad, where a person was running a fake embassy. Right now you can see the visual. I would like to request my Vijay to show you the visual of this KB35 Kavi Nagar complex. This is a bungalow where basically an embassy was being run by this main accused. And in this case, what we have seen that the UPSTF have found several documents and they have seized 4 vehicles with diplomatic numbers. Here you can see the visuals over here outside this very bungalow. Here 4 vehicles were parked with diplomatic numbers and they were seized by the UPSTF team from Ghaziabad.
No government emblem, no official diplomatic security. Just a 2-story residence with a name that suggested sovereignty. It was from here that Harshvardhan Jain, a 47-year-old MBA graduate from London, ran what investors now call a full-fledged fake embassy for 7 years.
After the arrest was made, various things were recovered from this fake embassy, like cash worth rupees 44,17,000, foreign currencies, fake passports, fake diplomatic number plates, cars, luxury cars with fake diplomatic number plates. So after now the case has been registered, Harshvardhan Jain has been arrested. These are the details that we're picking up while reporting from outside the fake embassy, which has been running for years now.
Jain posed as the Consul General for fictional micronations, Westarctica and Seborga, luring victims with promises of overseas jobs and business deals. From the so-called embassy, Uttar Pradesh STF teams have recovered 12 forged diplomatic passports, 18 fake diplomatic number plates, 44.7 lakhs in cash, foreign currency, 2 fake press cards, forged seals of the Ministry of External Affairs, and 34 seals from private companies and international organizations. The con extended beyond walls. Investigators say the now seized luxury vehicles bearing fake diplomatic plates were used to lure clients for foreign job placements or to park illicit funds under the guise of diplomatic immunity.
किस तरह के लोग आते थे? कोई अधिकारी आता था यहाँ पे?
मुझे इस चीज़ को पता नहीं है ना, मैंने देखा है, मतलब गाड़ियाँ 4 खड़ी रहती है तो ये देखा हुआ है।
जो गाड़ियाँ थी कौन कौन सी गाड़ियाँ थी?
नंबर तो पता नहीं है सर।
नहीं, कौन सी कंपनी? महंगी गाड़ियाँ खड़ी रहती?
महंगी गाड़ी थी।
उसमें कौन कौन आता था? सुबह शाम किन लोगों का आना जाना था?
ये सर तो कुछ नहीं देखा हमने सर, जो कि मतलब ये देखा था गाड़ियाँ रोड पर 4 खड़ी रहती थी।
The neighbors, completely unaware of what was unfolding behind closed doors.
मेरा रेजिडेंस पास में ही है और मैं यहाँ से निकलता बढ़ता देखता था, तो हमको भी ऐसा लग रहा था कि जैसे कोई फॉरेनर शायद यहाँ आए हुए होंगे या रहते होंगे, ये उनकी गाड़ियाँ होंगी, लेकिन ऐसा कभी ऑब्जर्व नहीं हुआ कि भाई ये कोई ऐसा एम्बेसी का भी मामला हो सकता है, जैसे अब सुनने में आया है कि भाई यहाँ कोई एम्बेसी चल रही थी.
The son of an industrialist J.D. Jain and a resident of KB45 Kavinagar used a nearby KB34 bungalow as the facade for his operation.
Right now we have arrived at the residence of Harshvardhan Jain, who is the main accused in a fake embassy case in Ghaziabad. Here you can see the visuals of his residence, and right now we will show you the visuals just outside his residence. Here you can see this is J.D. Jain's residence. Harshvardhan Jain's father, honorary animal welfare officer, Ministry of Environment and Forest, Government of India, Animal Welfare Board of India. So he is also part of the Animal Welfare Board, Mr. J.D. Jain, who is the father of Mr. Harshvardhan Jain, who is the main accused in connection with the case.
Police say Jain used digitally altered photographs showing him with the Prime Minister, the late President APJ Abdul Kalam, and other top leaders to project authenticity. Interestingly, the Jain temple in the area was built by Harshvardhan's father.
J.D. Jain से मुलाकात है आपकी?
हाँ, उनसे डेली होती है.
कैसे इंसान?
डेली होती है.
डेली होती है, अभी भी होती है.
हाँ.
कहाँ, अभी घर में मौजूद है?
नहीं, यहाँ मंदिर में आते हैं सुबह डेली. बेन आगा.
मैंने अभी उनके परिवार से बात करने की कोशिश, परिवार तो कह रहे हैं वो बाहर चले गए, कहीं विदेश गए हुए परिवार कह रहा है.
हो सकता है आज।
कब मुलाकात हुई?
कल सुबह हुई थी।
कल सुबह हुई थी और पुलिस ने उनके बेटे को परसों पकड़ा है और आज वो कह रहे हैं कि वो विदेश चले गए।
तो हो सकता है कल चले गए हों।
और क्या क्या बिजनेस है इनका?
ये मंदिर इन्हीं का बनाया हुआ है।
अच्छा, ये मंदिर उनका ही बनाया हुआ है
पर्सनली, वो अपने पैसे से।
अच्छा,
हाँ।
ठीक है हमारे साथ तो उसके जी हाँ,
समाज का कोई पैसा नहीं लगा हुआ।
Jain's ventures included bank accounts in Dubai, the UK, Mauritius, and India. His frequent travels, 53 trips to Dubai in a decade, hint at a role far beyond a local conman. But how does a man from Ghaziabad connect to Khashoggi's world? The investigation took a dramatic turn with whispers of a 20 crore transaction. STF findings suggest that Jain was a conduit for funds possibly linked to a nexus involving international arms dealer Adnan Khashoggi and his associates. From Monte Carlo to New York, Khashoggi's influence reached unlikely corners. In India, he was linked to Chandraswamy, a self-styled godman who held sway in elite circles. Chandraswamy, a tantric guru, was a power broker in the 80s and 90s. His ashram, a hub for political lobbying and shady deals. A close associate of Khashoggi, his network connected Indian elites to global players, including fraudsters like Ehsan Ali Syed. Investigators believe that Chandraswamy mentored Jain, providing the blueprint for the fake embassy. STF investigations indicate this trio, Khashoggi, Chandraswamy, and Syed, formed a nexus, operating through shell companies in London, Dubai, and beyond. These connections may have set the stage for Jain's audacious scheme, raising questions about how far Khashoggi's reach extended even after his death in 2017. Jain's companies, co-founded with Ehsan Ali Syed, spanned the UK, UAE, Mauritius, and Cameroon. From Khashoggi's world of arms and intrigue to a fake embassy in Ghaziabad, was Harshvardhan Jain a master manipulator or a puppet in a larger conspiracy? Was he a player or a pawn? And is the web of forgery and fraud the work of one man or a global syndicate hiding in plain sight?
A shocking allegation from Karnataka's Dharamsthala has triggered a national investigation. A former sanitation worker has claimed that over 16 years, he was forced to secretly bury hundreds of bodies, many of them women and children. He says many of the victims showed signs of rape and violence. The complaint was backed with a human skull he brought to a court. Now a special investigation team has been formed to probe whether the claims made are true or if a conspiracy is at play.
Everything was fine in Dharamsthala until an unknown person who appeared out of thin air made a shocking statement in the Beltangli's court. He mentioned that he was a sanitation worker who was working in Dharamsthala from the year 1995 up to 2014. He mentioned in his letter that an influential family of Dharamsthala had forced him, had ordered him, had threatened him to death to bury at least hundreds of bodies of girls or women aged between 12 up to 80.
Dharamsthala in Karnataka is known for its centuries-old Manjunatha temple, packed with thousands of devotees every single day. But now, the same place finds itself at the center of national attention, with serious allegations of mass burials near the Netravati river and deep inside the forest.
This unknown person or the complainant who actually brought Dharamsthala to a halt then planned to visit the magistrate court of Beltangdi to make his submission, to give his statement on what he had mentioned in the complaint. In the visual you can see the Beltangdi court where the complainant made the statement to the magistrate under section 164. The statement also includes various other sensitive details which is not mentioned on the complaint. He also demanded and requested the magistrate to give him the utmost security because he was very clear when he made a statement that this influential family of Dharamsthala would go to any extent to make sure all the truths get hidden for a longer time. On the other hand, the advocates who were present with the complainant also demanded or requested the magistrate to provide him with the utmost safety because he was the only person who had witnessed all these incidents for at least 2 decades is what the advocates and the complainant has mentioned in front of the magistrate.
It all gained traction when a man walked in the courtroom holding a skull and a letter. He said, "Protect me. Powerful people want me silenced."
ಸೊ 2 ವಾರದಿಂದ ಏನು ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೇಂಟ್ ಆಗಿತ್ತು ಒಬ್ಬ ಸಾಕ್ಷಿ ವಿಚಾರವಾಗಿ. ನಿನ್ನೆ ಸಂಜೆ ವೇಳೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಂಜೂರಾಗಿತ್ತು. ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ಕಮಿಟಿ ಏನಿದೆ ಅವರು ಪರಿಗಣಿಸಿ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಪೊಲೀಸ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಇವತ್ತು 164 ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಮ್ಯಾಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಎದುರು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ದಾಖಲಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕ್ಕೆ ಇವತ್ತು ಅನುಮತಿ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ರು. ಸೊ ಅದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ 4 ಗಂಟೆಗೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ವಿ. 4:45 ಬಂದು 1 ಅವರ್ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆ ನಡೀತು. ನಾವು ಮ್ಯಾಜಿಸ್ಟ್ರೇಟ್ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ ಕೇಳಿದ್ವಿ, ವಕೀಲರಾದರೂ ಇರೋಕ್ಕೆ ಬಿಡಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅವರೇನು ಅಕ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ವಿಟ್ನೆಸ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂದಿರೋದು. ಸೊ ಬಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೀಜರ್ ಅಲೌ ಮಾಡಲ್ಲ ಅಂತೇಳಿ ಅವರು ಏಕಾಂತವಾಗಿ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಕೇಳಿ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ದಾಖಲು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
The alleged whistleblower is a former sanitation worker who worked for the Dharamsthala temple administration from 1995 to 2014. He filed his explosive complaint on July 3rd with the Dharamsthala police. Complainant alleges that he was forced to bury and cremate hundreds of bodies, mostly of women and minors, many showing signs of sexual assault, allegedly buried between 1998 and 2014. Advocates of the whistleblower have argued that systemic failures in the local law enforcement may have enabled the alleged secrecy.
The police not taking him to the site tells me that they have failed to do what is their most primary and fundamental work. What does the police do? For 15 days, they say, okay, we will take you to the judge. Okay, it's a good thing that they took him to the judge, and where the judge recorded the statements in the absence of lawyers, right? So that nobody could say that, okay, this is a man making claims actually based on what lawyers actually might have told him or whatever. And they also spent 4 hours with him investigating him, while after which they leaked out many things that he said, and the complaint has already been lodged with the DGP. I don't know what they are doing about it.
This week, the Karnataka government ordered a special investigation team to probe the allegations. The SIT has been asked to investigate rape, murder, secret burials over a span of 16 years. This is the site where the complainant waited with his lawyer in order to show Karnataka police the site of mass burials where the police did not show up.
At this point of time, I am in one of the remote locations of Dharamsthala, which is probably a couple of meters away from the Netravati riverbank. As per the complainant's statement, he had mentioned in his complaint that he had exhumed the remains or the skull of an unknown person, which is very closer and which is within the perimeter of the Netravati riverbank. Now, I am in such location where the complainant had informed the police, the Dharamsthala police, that he would be showing them the exact place of where he had exhumed that skull. He was waiting, the complainant was waiting with his advocates for the Dharamsthala police to arrive to the location, but the police didn't turn up, and these people had to leave after waiting for 1.5 to 2 hours from this location.
When police did not show up, he walked straight to the court with a skull in a plastic bag.
I am in one of the crucial locations which is mentioned in the complaint by the unknown person. I am exactly in the place named Kalleri, where a petrol pump has been mentioned in the complaint, stating that a couple of years ago when this complainant was forced to reach the place, one of the secluded place which I will be showing you now. So one of these places which is at least around 500 meters from the petrol bunk, she was partially naked and he had clearly seen the marks on her body where it was of physical abuse, and he also mentioned the exact location from where the petrol bunk is located. He mentions 500 meters just beside the petrol pump is a dense forest, and in one of these portions of the forest is where he mentioned that he had buried the 12 to 15-year-old girl child.
In the Kalari jungle, the complainant says there is another pit that belongs to a 20-year-old woman with acid burns and that he was forced to bury her too.
So in his letter, he had mentioned he had witnessed a 20-year-old college-going woman or a lady who was brutally murdered, who was naked. Her face had been damaged by pouring acid on that, and also, not to forget, her body had various other marks of physical molestation and sexual assault. On the other hand, all her belongings were burned by using diesel is what he has told. So this is the location where he mentioned these two incidents have occurred. Probably, if at all, the special investigation team which has been constituted by the government visits the denser forest, there might be yet more examples or yet more proofs if at all his claim is true.
As the case sent shockwaves across the nation, the Home Minister G. Parameshwara and Siddaramaiah responded.
It is to look into the, to look into Dharamsthala issues. There has been a complaint, there has been a public hue and cry. Government has taken note of all this and then constituted an SIT to look into this entire thing.
On July 17, a team of lawyers formally petitioned Chief Minister Siddaramaiah for an independent probe. On July 20th, the Karnataka government constituted a special investigation team to investigate the alleged mass graves, disappearances and crime against women and students in Dharamsthala for over the past 2 decades.
Women Commission of Karnataka, Supreme Court retired judge, and not only them but also the entire civilians of Karnataka with various agencies demanded the Chief Minister and the Karnataka state government to constitute a special investigation team. Now, a team headed by 4 IPS officers along with 20 police staff from various other parts of the state have been constituted under a special investigation team, and they are about to reach to Dharamsthala police station in the next couple of days. They have various other challenges to unearth now.
As opposition questioned the government's intent to investigate the whole matter, what followed was IPS officer Soumya Lata writing a letter to step down from the SIT team in Dharamsthala mass burial case.
ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನನಗೆ ತಾವು ಮಾಧ್ಯಮದಲ್ಲಿ 2-3 ಸಾರಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಪ್ರಸ್ತಾಪ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ನೋಡಿದೆ. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಅವರೇನಾದರೂ ನನಗೆ ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಬಂದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅನ್ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ ಆಗಿ ನನಗೆ ಬಂದದ್ದೇನು ಅಂದರೆ ಅವರೇನೋ ಪತ್ರ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ನನಗೆ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕವಾಗಿ ಕಾರಣ ಇದೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ನನಗೆ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತ ಏನೋ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತ. ಅದನ್ನು ರಿಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ದರೆ ರಿಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರನ್ನ.
What fueled the controversy was fresh missing person complaint from Sujata Bhatt on July 15th, the mother of MBBS student Ananya Bhatt, who disappeared in Dharamsthala in 2003. We also spoke to the whistleblower's lawyer advocate K.V. Dhananjay. He told Republic his client is ready to take investigators to every single grave.
What he did only because he was threatened with being cut to pieces and his family being cut to pieces if he would not do that. He could have been where he was, right? Wherever he was. He said he fled to a place outside Karnataka in 2014. This is 2025. Why does he have to return? He could just be there. And all the books here, you could read all the books here, you will not find a case like this. Why? Because whatever we learn in criminal jurisprudence is somebody who commits a crime wants to run away, wants never to face the police, right? And more so when no one is looking. the hundreds of bodies that he claims, he doesn't know their names. He doesn't know their identity. There are no pending cases there. It's not like they're looking for these deaths, these rapes. I mean, he claims that there were these raped women, right? And of course, schoolgirls as well. Who is looking for these bodies? No one is, right? And he still says, I want to come out. I want to unburden my conscience. How? By digging out the bodies. So what do? You take him to the place where he's put in the bodies.
The outrage over the claims made in the temple town has sparked a big debate across India. 10 days since the SIT was formed and not one exhumation has been done. Not one body has been recovered. If proven true, these claims would mark one of India's largest cases of institutionalized abuse and disappearance, and now unanswered questions are haunting Dharamsthala.
In a surprising discovery that echoes of a distant war, construction workers in Manipur's Imphal West district have unearthed relics believed to be from World War II. The historic find took place in LongForm, not far from a known Allied military site that was used during the 1944 Battle of Imphal.
This is the sort of country in which British and Indian forces have been fighting the Japanese in the Battle of Imphal. Our infantry and tanks, after heavy and difficult fighting, succeeded in driving back the enemy and reopening the road.
Rusted shell casings, dented water bottles, a grenade, spades, and tin cans. At first, it looked like junk from another time. Turns out it was, but from World War II. A routine dig for a sewerage line became an accidental unearthing of wartime relics. What began as construction quickly turned into a brush with history. Republic reached Imphal West to dig deeper into a past that's resurfacing, piece by rusted piece.
While the construction workers had been digging up this for construction pillars, they could found some World War II relics. So I will show you where the items had been recovered.
पिलर के अंदर में जो हमने पुराने वाले वर्ल्ड वॉर 2 में गाड़ी का पार्ट है, उसके बाद ग्रेनेड वॉर्म है ना, वो भी मिलता है और सब 20 आइटम्स में मिलता है। पुराने वाले इसे गांव में जो पीपल है ना, इसने बता दिया तो सेकेंड वर्ल्ड वॉर में रहते हैं, and then so we can understand about the histories of those moments.
Just 4 feet beneath the ground in LongForm, a cache of World War II era military relics was discovered and immediately handed over to the Manipur Archaeology Department. However, there is more than what meets the eye. Many believe that more remnants remain buried and could still be excavated.
The present the location in which the relic items were recovered, it is to be further excavated by taking permission from the higher authorities to find out whether there is more relic items or not.
Japan Lam, the Battle of Imphal, fought in tandem with the Battle of Kohima, was a turning point in the brutal Burma campaign. How are these relics so closely threaded with the World War II? The answer lies in the Kanchipur Hills. From March to July 1944, these hills, once home to a critical Allied military camp, became the stage for one of the war's most decisive confrontations. And till date, the National War Museum in Japan recognizes the battles of Imphal and Kohima as two of Britain's greatest military victories. The Kanchipur Hills still stand as a silent testament to that history.
Relics are very important because it transforms you, rather takes you back to that time, which was very, very crucial. These artifacts and the archival documents gives you a better understanding of the lives of the soldiers during the wartime and of the general public. And also it's of paramount importance that the younger generation know about this history so that the future is secure.
This is the sort of country in which British and Indian forces have been fighting the Japanese in the Battle of Imphal. Imphal itself is the capital of the state of Manipur on the Burmese border, and it's one of our bases on this front. The Jap offensive here was really more of a defensive attack by which they hoped to spoil Allied plans for the recapture of Burma.
March 1944, the Japanese army, backed by Subhash Chandra Bose's Azad Hind Fauj, launched a high-stakes assault on Imphal, the gateway to India for the Nippon army. Their aim: break British control, capture key supply routes and trigger a mass uprising against colonial rule. For the British Indian Army, Imphal was a lifeline. For the Japanese and INA, it was the start of India's liberation. What followed was one of the bloodiest battles ever fought on Indian soil. Surrounded, bombarded and battered by monsoon, both sides paid a heavy price. But the political stakes were even higher. Indians were fighting on both sides, for empire and for freedom. Imphal wasn't just a military clash, it was a battle for India's soul. Today, relics unearthed in Imphal bring back more than war memories. They bring to light the horrors of a brutal battle and the forgotten heroism of Azad Hind Fauj. The relics were more than rusted remains. They were a trigger, a time machine for one family in Imphal East. They reopened a chapter long buried beneath the soil of history. They brought back cherished memories of their grandfather, Captain Naki Ahmad Chaudhary of the Azad Hind Fauj, a captain who served under Colonel Shaukat Ali Malik, the man who on 14th of April 1944 unfurled the Indian tricolour at Moirang Kangla, the first time the flag of independent India flew on its own land. These relics didn't just tell a story of war, they revived the untold tale of a freedom fighter and the forgotten soldiers of the Azad Hind Fauj.
Saragumba ko amasu yawbane aduga magi kano kai kano ani hum disu baneba aisu singna phajana ju kano tawdeba haiba ngamdeba mapana loina adu cheksinna thambaneba mapaga unaga ti phajana nuhinu ko phanga tameba poto.
Bom kaya ama iba manungda dairamba thengna khre hojikso adum thengnari handak langthapalda warwar da sijenaramba ariba polam khara phangbagi paw taba asida aigi baba su warwar matamda sipai ramba nam baba bangchini Agi phangli bari pa palam changasi khoina icham cham pa palam ma moila ꯇꯧꯕ ꯆꯨꯝꯗꯦ ꯃꯁꯤꯗꯤ ꯑꯩꯈꯣꯏꯒꯤ ꯍꯤꯁꯇꯔꯤꯒꯤ ꯑꯣꯏꯕ ꯋꯥꯔꯤ ꯀꯌꯥ ꯑꯃꯒ ꯁꯥꯒꯣꯟꯅꯕ ꯄꯣꯠꯂꯝ ꯉꯥꯛꯇꯅꯤ ꯃꯔꯝ ꯑꯁꯤꯅ ꯃꯇꯝ ꯑꯗꯨꯒꯤ ꯊꯧꯅꯥ ꯐꯔꯕ ꯏꯄꯥ ꯏꯄꯨꯁꯤꯡꯅ ꯂꯧꯔꯝꯕ ꯊꯧꯗꯥꯡꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯗꯨꯁꯨ ꯏꯀꯥꯏ ꯈꯨꯝꯅꯕ ꯎꯠꯄ ꯑꯣꯏꯅ ꯄꯣꯠꯂꯝꯁꯤꯡ ꯑꯁꯤ ꯇꯨꯡꯒꯤ ꯃꯤꯔꯣꯜꯗ ꯈꯪꯍꯧꯅꯕ ꯅꯤꯡꯊꯤꯅ ꯌꯣꯛꯈꯠꯇꯨꯅ ꯊꯝꯕ ꯃꯊꯧ ꯇꯥꯏ
Decades after the guns fell silent, these relics have reopened a chapter of India's forgotten frontline, a brutal battle where courage and sacrifice shaped the nation's destiny. In Imphaal's soil lie stories of soldiers who fought not just for empire but for freedom. Like Captain Naki Ahmed Chaudhary and countless others of the Azad Hind Fauj, whose bravery now finally emerges from the shadows as these echoes from the past resurface. They remind us the fight for India's soul was fought here in blood and steel, far from the pages of most history books. This year, in the background of the strategic victory in Operation Sindoor, the nation unites to commemorate the 26th Kargil Vijay Diwas, a radiant milestone in India's legacy. As we celebrate the triumphant victory of 1999, when our indomitable soldiers defying icy peaks and relentless enemy assaults recaptured Kargil's towering heights with unparalleled bravery and steadfast determination. On 26th of July, the tricolour unfurled majestically atop Ladakh's rugged mountains, embodying the supreme sacrifice, heroic valour and unyielding spirit of our nation.
लड़ाई के परिणाम के बारे में भी मेरे मन में कोई संदेह नहीं है। हमारी विजय निश्चित है और हम विजयी होकर दिखाएंगे।
The heart of every Indian beats with pride. As this Kargil Diwas, India celebrates 26 years of valor and sacrifice of our armed forces in the Battle of 1999, when Indian troops reclaimed the heights of Kargil with unwavering resolve. In 1999, Vijay's gritty infantry battles in icy heights of Kargil had crushed Pakistan's intrusions. And 26 years later, less has changed for Pakistan when in Operation Sindoor, swift and surgical airstrikes devastated Pakistan's terror camps and airfields. More than 2 decades apart, Operation Vijay and Operation Sindoor have showcased parallels of India's unyielding resolve against Pakistan's provocations and state-sponsored terrorism. Republic exclusively reports from Dras in Kargil this Vijay Diwas and explains the inside story of the 1999 battle.
Armachun viewpoint, and from this very point one can see all those peaks where the battle of Kargil was fought. This battle was fought between India and Pakistan, and the aim was to evict those intruders who were dominating these heights. I'll ask my Vijay Firdos to focus and show you through the panoramic view how the peaks look like. These are the peaks where the battle of Kargil was fought. Be it the Tolo link, or the other peaks, as the India has adopted a multi-pronged strategy approach to overcome the challenges of 1999 of Kargil war. Small, highly trained units conducted frontal and flanking attacks to dislodge the enemy from their fronted positions. Units like the Gorkha Rifles, Rajputana Rifle, Ladakh Scouts definitely played a pivotal roles.
In the Kargil war, Pakistan had planned to cut off the Srinagar-Leh highway, a crucial supply route for Indian forces in Ladakh and Siachen, which was a key objective denied by the Indian Army.
The road here is the Srinagar to Leh highway, viewers, and this is very important. We'll show you this road, and as far as the Kargil war is concerned, it becomes of utmost significance. Now this road, viewers, and this is of course a very scenic view. The Srinagar Leh highway is a vital supply route for India, and Pakistan aimed to cut off this highway by occupying strategic peaks along the line of control so as to hamper Indian military operations and supply lines in this region, viewers. As you can see, this is of course a very scenic area, just like most parts of the valley, or I would say all parts of the valley. And in Kargil war, of course, this entire stretch becomes very, very important when we talk about the Kargil war.
A day prior to Kargil Diwas, Republic attended the Gauravmay Sanskriti at Dras event that showcased the new age technological incubations done by the Indian Army.
Honor the sacrifices made by the heroes of Kargil war. The Indian Army is displaying you that how technology plays an important role in today's world, be it the world of medicine, education or the war. We are showing you the display of the drone. This is a mesmerizing drone show that is in the sky to honor the brave Kargil warriors on this anniversary of Kargil Vijay Diwas.
In a show of respect to the courage of our soldiers who laid down their lives for their motherland, a ceremony was held at dusk prior to the commemoration.
It is a tribute to the fallen soldiers and also to celebrate their victory and their valor. As my Vijay can show you the visuals that are coming from the Dras memorial here, where you see the families of these martyrs who had come together to lit lamp. These countless lamps lit to symbolize eternal gratitude, remembrance and respect for India's brave heroes. The atmosphere here is reverent and patriotic, with flickering flames illuminating the memorial in the crisp mountain air.
In an emotive moment, in memory of those who laid their lives, there is a golden wall at the memorial with names of our soldiers etched in history. In bold written on the wall are the words, "Beneath this earth, young warriors sleep."
It's inscripted here on this wall because the young warriors who sleep beneath this earth, their valor etched in every stone of Dras. A salute to the immortals of Kargil. The memorial here stands as a solemn reminder of their courage and unwavering commitment to the nation. Their legacy lives on, forever immortalizing in the mountains they defended. Their name, as my Vijay is showing you, their names shine under the eternal flame.
Speaking to Republic, family members of the martyrs spoke of their pride and pain simultaneously.
फील तो फगारे हो रहा है कि अपने देश के लिए शहीद हो गए और इतनी अच्छी जगह पे अपने देश के लिए लड़ते लड़ते सम्मानित करते हैं, तब भी अच्छा लगता है। लेकिन उसके पीछे बहुत बड़े दुख छुपे हुए हैं जो 26 सालों का दुख पूरा नहीं हो सकता।
I basically don't remember much about him because I was very small at that time. I was just 13 years old, and he used to come for his holidays, basically 2 months in a year. So I just have a vivid experience with him. Okay, very less. But what we used to do was we used to communicate through letters. We used to write letters to each other. Individually, like me and my sister, individually we used to write letter to him, and individually we used to get the reply. It was not like as a whole, like family. Yeah? For my mother it was different, for my sister it was different, and for me it was different. So basically, like, it was a proud moment.
Even 26 years later, the stories of the valor of our soldiers fill every Indian with pride. At Tololing, Major Rajesh Adhikari led his men under relentless fire, refusing to give up despite grave injuries. On Tiger Hill, soldiers scaled near impossible heights in the dead of night to reclaim the peak in a daring assault that changed the tide of the war. At point 4875, Captain Vikram Batra etched his name in history with his fearless charge and immortal words, "Ye dil mange more," before laying down his life.
Ye dil mange more.
These men endured not just bullets but the wrath of nature, bone-chilling winds, sub-zero temperatures, and oxygen levels that tested endurance at every breath.
We are at Sando Top, lesser known top, but it is one of the crucial and the strategic top. It is from here you get a vantage view of the national highway. From my right you see the Tiger Hill, which was recaptured by Indian Army, and where there was a call by Captain Vikram Batra, "Ye dil mange more." This is the point. This is the Tiger Hill that was recaptured by the Indian Army in 1999. Similarly, if we talk about this Sando Top, it is crucial for cutting the supplies. Pakistan tried to cut the supplies because of the national highway in NH1 Srinagar Ladakh, which was very crucial for maintaining the supply lines, for maintaining the reinforcements. Then you see the Trishul Top. Just between these two ridges is the Trishul Top, where again the Indian Army is dominating. These tops were used by the enemy to monitor Indian troops' movement and transport arms mules to forward areas.
Operations Vijay and Sindoor, both sparked by Pakistan's miscalculated aggression, saw India's firepower Bofors then and indigenous BrahMos now, securing two definitive victories back-to-back, giving lessons in inconsistency to the Western neighbor. At the Kargil Diwas, India's Chief of Army Staff spoke at length about the valor of Indian soldiers in Kargil and even during Operation Sindoor. At a moment when India celebrates the 26th year of Operation Vijay, lessons from Operation Sindoor have changed India's strategic doctrine forever. In such times, when India's patience is being tested, the choice of words from Air Marshal A.K. Bharti speak louder in spirit as guiding for all Indians.
तो मैं बस आपको रामचरितमानस की एक कुछ पंक्ति याद दिलाऊंगा, आप समझ जाएंगे। तो याद कीजिए वो पंक्ति जो है, विनय न माने जलधि जड़, भय 3 दिन बीत, बोले राम सकोप तब, भय बिन होए न प्रीत। तो समझदार के लिए इशारा ही काफी।
As Republic reports exclusively from Dras, we pay our homage to our brave men who laid down their lives in service of their motherland. To all, a very proud Vijay Diwas. Jai Hind.
That's all that we could pack in this edition of the Long Form Story. We'll be back next weekend with more untold and in-depth stories.
$13,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
भारत की अपनी दुकान, इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान, इंडिया
इंडिया जोना।
आधे बाउल दही में 4 चम्मच MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला डाला, स्टर करो, पुदीना चटनी तैयार। MDH चटनी पुदीना मसाला।
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
अब छोलिया हो या लोबिया, सफेद चने या काले चने,
सब कुछ मजेदार बने।
भारत के इतने लेजेंडरी एक्टर फिर से एक तरह से रिस्क क्यों ले रहे हैं?
ओशो की एक बड़ी अच्छी लाइन है
जी,
इफ यू ट्राई यू रिस्क फेलियर, इफ यू डोंट यू एंश्योर इट। मैं हमेशा मानता हूँ वो जीवन ही क्या जो संघर्षमय ना, संघर्षमय होने से ही तो अपने जिंदा होने का एहसास होता है।
This week on Get Me Right, some untold stories of Narendra Modi's journey to becoming the longest serving Prime Minister of the country after Jawaharlal Nehru for 2 consecutive terms, displacing Indira Gandhi. Also, can we have a nationalist AI? Is artificial intelligence also going to follow the existing geopolitical divisions of the world? And finally, is there anything called Dara Hua Musalman in the light of some developments? From Uttar Pradesh to Maharashtra to Kerala. This weekend, only on Republic TV.
इतनी रिस्क लेने की क्या जरूरत है? Why don't you play safe, Anupam Kher?
I would have not reached here if I had played safe. I would have not survived in this profession if I had played safe. I did not play safe in my first film. That's the way my life is. What is the idea of walking on a path which is not full of ditches, speed breakers, problems? Because when I reach the destination, I should look back and say, wow, क्या मुश्किलों से गुजर के मैं यहाँ तक पहुँचा हूँ, इसलिए मैंने सर्वाइव किया ये 40 साल। आजकल बहुत सारे यंग लोग बोलते हैं that is the way I am. मैं तो शायद 95 साल की उम्र में भी नहीं बोल पाऊंगा कि that is the way I am. Because the moment that is the way I am, that means your growth is not there.
This is your space, play it your way.
Hi, this is Chef Ranveer Brar. Guarantee you brilliance on behalf of IIHM.
MDH की देगी मीरज,
देगी मिर्च का तड़का, अंग अंग फड़का।
MDH की देगी मीरज। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे, दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे। केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला।
$13,000 placements last year. At Amity, we are committed to nurturing passionate, hardworking and proactive professionals.
Sarah, this is your space, play it your way.
MDH की हल्दी मिर्ची धनिया करे कमाल, ये रंग दे, ये खुशबू दे, ये तीखा, ये कम पड़े, क्या निराला MDH मसाला। भारत की अपनी दुकान इंडिया सोना, अपने देश का सामान इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना, इंडिया सोना।
दादी के हाथों का जादू और खुशबू से महकता घर, माँ की मुस्कुराहट और खाने की सुगंध। MDH गरम मसाला,
क्योंकि हर रिश्ता है स्वाद से जुड़ा।
Chief of Army Staff General Upendra Dwivedi pays tributes to Kargil heroes, also hails success of Operation Sindoor. Another day, another